Hello and welcome to the People's edition of Forbes Let's Talk with your hosts, me, Joe Monk,
and me, Adil Ghafar.
Our aim is to speak with partners and significant people within the firm.
And to break down barriers and gain an insight into what makes them tick.
Talking all things legal, business and career progression. So Adam and Jack, firstly, thank you both for coming on the podcast. It's the first time we've got two guests on at the same time, so looking forward to it. I suppose if we start off with, would you be able to just give sort of an introduction into your respective roles at Forbes?
Don't know you want to go first, but I've started speaking first. So I'm Adam Bromley. I'm a partner at Forbes. I head up the property teams, and I've been at Forbes since 2002 when I started as a trainee solicitor, qualified into the commercial property department, and as I say, I'm a partner and the head of the property teams now.
Yeah, just following on from Adam, I'm Jack. I work as a HR advisor, working within the people function here at Forbes. Just past my third year anniversary, so it's gone quite quickly.
I suppose with looking at your careers to date and everything, now you've got to where you have done. I suppose really turning to Adam first, obviously you've been here for just over 20 years now. How much of growth have you seen within the firm? How much has changed in your perspectives on that?
Yeah, in some elements it's changed. In some elements it's stayed the same. In that I think the culture of the firm is something that's very much the same as it was when I joined. The way that the firm promotes its staff, including myself, and the opportunities that are there, that the growth has really kind of moved on, especially in the commercial areas. When I first joined, the commercial areas were starting to grow, but at that stage, it was that side of the firm wasn't the main drive of what we were doing. It wasn't they weren't the larger departments, and that's where we've seen a lot of growth in the last 20 years with the commercial teams really kind of growing to be the same size and to be comparable to the teams in the firm that were already the kind of bedrock of what Forbes were about, maybe as a transition from a traditional high street firm into more of a corporate looking firm. So there's been growth and changes in that, and as we've come along that journey. But like I say, the actual culture of what Forbes is about, I would say, is the same now as it was from the first day I joined, and that's one of the main reasons that I've loved being at Forbes and still at Forbes, and would just say to anybody that that's the real key to what Forbes is about. So that's not changed.
Now, just to follow up on that, Adam, I know in 2014 that you were promoted to head of commercial. How have you seen your roles changed as you got appointed that role? Have you seen a transition in your day-to-day workings, in your responsibilities?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
As I say, as my role throughout my time at the firm has changed from starting as a trainee solicitor. You go through natural changes. I think the biggest change that comes with moving into a partnership role or a head of a team role, no matter the size of that team, is the responsibilities for managing people.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that changes, and probably the thing that we don't learn as lawyers. That's not what we get taught. So you learn some of that on the job, and you get a lot of support from the firm in that as well. But I think that's been the beauty of it. That's the change, and it brings with it challenges as you're dealing with people and other issues that come up. But that's again the beauty of not only are you managing people, but you're developing them, you're giving them the opportunities as well. So I think that's something that, whilst that's something that I've really enjoyed, having that opportunity to then make sure that those opportunities are there for other people. But that is been the biggest change. And my role has moved as it's gone through to now where I'm not really doing much of the day-to-day legal work. It's predominantly people management and strategy-based work that I do now. And yeah, I do enjoy that, but it's a different type of role.
Yeah. Just to you, Jack, just the same question to you. You know, you're involved with the HR side of things. Is this something that you anticipated going down? Because I know at university you studied business and human resources management. What gravitated you towards the role you're in today, Jack? If you could elaborate.
I think a lot of people in HR always tend to say that they fell into HR. I can probably say it was the same for me. Left school as anyone, didn't know what I wanted to do. Really took a shine to business studies and the legal side of things. So I studied business with legal aspects in college. Didn't really know what that would get me. And then I found that the HR function was a bit of a mix of business management as well as with the employment law side of things. So it was the best of both worlds, really. I got to study some of the legal aspects, as well as the business aspects. And then it was just a case of I continued that. Looked for work placements while I was studying. Ended up getting a job at a manufacturing company, and then just moved along from my career from there, and then ended up in the legal field. So it was kind of like an all-rounder. I ended up doing HR in a solicitor's firm, which has been so. Yeah,
that's brilliant. And Jack, just to further elaborating on that question, I know you've been at the firm for 3 years now. Have you seen a change in the landscape in the role you're in from when you were first joined to now? Has there been?
Definitely, yeah.
In the obstacles you face.
So when I first started, it was COVID. So we were literally slap bang in the middle of the pandemic, starting in August 2020. Moving along from there, the firm was still heavily paper based. So one of my first jobs when I started here is getting the HR department digitalised and moving away from printing and having all them paper files, personnel files that we used to have. So moved on from that. Obviously we've had a change of director within the team, with Laura Chet-Black, who was an associate in the employment team, coming and joining us as the people and organisational development director. So that was a big change in itself. And obviously with that change has come a shift in how we partner with the business in terms of looking at that business partnering model, and becoming more ingrained in the business and becoming more proactive rather than doing the reactive work.
Did you find the transition quite quick, Jack, going from paperless all the way, to more digitalisation, especially during COVID? Because I imagine there was quite an urgency to adapt really quickly.
What benefited me coming into Forbes is I'd recently just gone through the same project in my previous employment. So we moved from paper systems to a paper-light system. So that gave me a bit of an advantage in terms of looking at what Forbes did and going, right, yeah, we can do this, we can work like this, we can put this into place, and this will help us with this aspect of the role. So it had to move quick because of COVID. Everyone was remote working. It was the circumstances that caused that change anyway. But yeah, definitely moved quick. And because of the previous projects that I worked on, it did help us move that little bit more quickly.
Just that same question to you, Adam. Sorry. Just that same question to you, Adam. Have you seen a shift in your working methods from COVID, post-COVID? Have you seen a transition within your department? Have you adopted technology in your ways of working?
For sure. It's reiterating some of the comments Jack's made, but we had the change in 2016. We opened the Oak House office, and that was mentioning before about that kind of growth of the commercial areas. That was one of the big milestones where we really brought the commercial teams together into a more modern office for those purposes. So 2016 saw us come together in that way, and that was again the start of starting to go along that project of going paper light and starting to embrace those kind of working technologies. So we were already kind of working through those processes. We'd seen some of those changes, But COVID was one of the benefits of COVID was, as Joe was alluding to, was that it enabled some things to move quicker, and it forced some things on that needed to change that maybe weren't happening as quickly as we wanted them to. And I think the biggest thing with COVID was that I don't think without COVID we would have ever, not just us, anybody in the world have ever got to this stage, because a lot of the technology we use now, using Zoom for this or whatever it might be, those things existed, but it'd be okay, we might be using it, but another firm might not, or the client might not. So it needed something like COVID to force everybody to do it. So that enabled everybody to have to use it, and that moved things forward more quickly. So yeah, it helped. We were already starting to do some of these things and embracing some of these ideas. It just helped move those things along at a much faster pace. So it's very different how we have worked post-COVID and since the pandemic than we were before, but it wasn't things that we weren't looking at. It just enabled us to put them in place quicker. So yeah, it has, and we've really embraced that, and it's really kind of helped with the work that we do.
I suppose in some aspects it has given birth to innovation and other ways of more efficient, sustainable ways of working.
It has, and I think that's the other thing it's done. It's kind of really helped focus your mind, where you had to really look at, whether it be in the business or just within the team or as an individual, if you had to change. We're all as people naturally resistant to change, and there were my own working life that it's either resistant to change or you will be uncomfortable. COVID helped push you out of that comfort zone because you had to adapt, you had to do that, and it's made me more able now, as new things come along, to go, well, actually I'm not as resistant to change, I'm not as worried about it, I can understand the process I need to go through to consider, would this be a better way of doing things, and to embrace the change easier. And that's something I've seen across more people. I think people are less scared of change than maybe they were before. So that helps innovation to come in place, because that's sometimes what can prevent it, because people are scared of a new way of working, or thinking it'll take too long, it might not be a better way, it'll be quicker to carry on doing it the way I have. I think COVID has helped people realise the benefits of change.
100%.
So from both of your perspectives, do you think, like, the way we work now with more remote and flexible working, that it has led to improved mental health amongst employees? Have you noticed a difference?
I think yes. I think it has helped in the sense of people have a better work-life balance. They're getting more out of their work. So the reduction on travelling and just the general everyday stresses of life have potentially reduced, because they have that bit more freedom from that work-life balance. But also, on the other hand, you could look at it from remote working can cause a bit of loneliness. I know Mental Health Awareness Week in 2022 talked about loneliness and the impact of remote working, and how that can be a bit of a test of your mental health. If you're working from home all the time, you're not really in the office, you're not really seeing people, and that's why here at Forbes we try and encourage that people get into the office when they can. They do speak with their teams as often as possible, so they're not stuck at home just by themselves, just working. It's still that very much of it's a team culture. We are one team, and just trying to promote that from within.
I suppose that leads on well now to talking about mental health in a bit more detail, and obviously yourself, Jack, and Adam have been the leading proponents of that within the firm. Are you able to talk about how does the idea between the two of you sort of came about, and your ideas for this going forwards?
I was just going to say it was part of the wider EDIB strategy that we've got in place. We've been doing a lot more in terms of equality, diversity, inclusion and belonging. Myself and Adam are both part of that new internal committee that we've created. and the Men's Health Week was one of the agenda items on the new inclusion calendar that we've got. And it was a case of the people team were talking one day, ideas started flowing. I then came to Adam to have a bit of a discussion on what ideas we could look at, and then me and I'm pretty safe to say me and Adam pretty much ran away and took it on our own and just ran with it from there.
No, that's brilliant, because question to Adam, I know with your the Men's Mental Awareness Week, which you sent out global emails, you covered various topics, so technology, addiction, men's physical health, prostate cancer, exercise and nutrition. What was the reasoning behind picking those specific topics? If you could elaborate on them, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, like I said, just to carry on from what Jack said, it was that the EDIB committee that was put in place, and we were identifying as a committee ways of linking on from what Joe had asked about those kind of mental health kind of issues, and linking into looking at how we could get everybody involved and include everybody. So we're obviously a diverse firm, and we've got lots of different representation around that committee. So Jack and I felt we had a few topics that we'd looked at, and obviously so men's health obviously is important to myself and Jack. So we decided how to do that, and then what we did at first was we really kind of got a lot of the key partners involved to discuss ideas, and then we took a bit of a consultation. And what we decided would be a good idea to do during the week was we thought, well, how can we best now engage with near enough 400 people across the firm, and how can we engage with them, but not just engage with the male element of the workforce, with everybody, and then how can we get them to engage outside of the workforce? How can we get good messages across? And what we thought would be a good idea would be to pick a topic each day that people could focus on. Jack did a lot of research from his side of things then around each topic, and the way we picked those topics was to look at kind of to look at some of the main issues that do impact on men's health through a lot of things. We found that one of the biggest things we wanted to do was to get men talking about their health. It's identified, and as we started to speak to people, that was one of the things that everybody held their hands up to. I'm bad at talking about it as a man typically, and just not comfortable talking about it. But as we started to have these conversations, it grew, and we picked those topics to try and identify the ones that maybe are the main elements. So we thought we'll share it out, and it will have some topics that link in more to mental health issues, and some topics that link into physical health issues, which is why we picked prostate cancer, because we talked about that, because we looked at that, and that is one of the main health issues that will impact on men in their lifetimes. So it was important to get that message out. And from a mental health point of view, it was quite frightening when we did the research to see that how high the suicide rates are in men compared to women. It was quite frightening statistics. So we thought we wanted to really highlight as a starting point, because we want this to grow, and we've got lots of other ideas, just to get the biggest topics that impact on men's health and suicide from a mental health point of view, and things from prostate cancer. Because we were surprised, we thought testicular cancer, again, an obvious men's health issue, but the rates of testicular cancer were quite low when we looked into it. So we were quite surprised. I think that's not something that actually is quite is a high proportion that affects men, whereas prostate cancer is. So we just tried to pick out the main areas that we thought would really hit home to start with, to get people talking and just engage in the process.
Yeah, because they're quite brilliant educational pieces that created a lot of awareness. And I was reading the research the other day, and you'd use Men's Health Forum. If Rachel, we could link under this podcast, that'd be brilliant, because the statistics, something like 32% of men are less likely to visit the doctors during the work age, and 29% are too embarrassed, to stigma attached with regards to their mental health. And it is quite worrying, and it's removing that stigma and that taboo and breaking barriers down and saying, you know what, it's all right to talk about it. You're not the only one. So
really good. I suppose like with the initiatives we've got going forwards now with the raising more awareness about mental health. Have we got any more initiatives that you've got in the pipeline that you're allowed to elaborate on, or is it kind of just
No,
waiting?
definitely. Well, I guess first of all, I was going to hand over to you first to ping it right back at you, Joe, because you were, as I say, you were somebody that was really kind of engaged in the process. You'd already was one of the people that were kind of speaking up about this, and you've already launched an initiative off the back of it. So why don't you tell us about what you've launched?
Roles reversed. Obviously when Adam and Jack sent out the global email about what we can do to help promote mental health, I just thought instantly with how running has helped my mental health in particular. I don't just do it for competing purposes, but especially during COVID, when we weren't allowed to obviously be with other people, you were just pretty much isolated, and it could be quite lonely. But going for runs just helped so much. I think after a stressful day, if you've been working at home and you've got no one else to speak to apart from family members, it's just really good to get those endorphins going. So I thought it'd be a really good idea to try and get a running club going on a more consistent basis. I believe the firm have tried doing that before in the past, but we've just not been able to keep it going consistently. So I think going forwards now, obviously I'm really keen to keep this going every week, and we've had a good response so far. So hopefully, we're going to be starting it next week. So hopefully we get some good numbers turning out, and from there we can hopefully expand it to the other offices, and go to different locations, even at weekends, possibly doing obviously we've done the 3 peaks, but doing sort of weekend long runs in the lakes would be a really good idea, and to do stuff for charity as well. I think that'd be a really good thing, and it helps not only raising money for charity and socializing, but it just helps your mental health so much. And I testify to that.
Yeah, that's been something that's come out of that, and a lot of the ideas that'll grow from this. We really want to be a firm-wide initiative. It's encouraging people to bring things to build up a men's health forum within the firm, and to encourage people to come up with their ideas as to how we can do this and engage as many people. But we do have some initiatives lined up. I don't know if Jack, you want to talk about, because I think we've got our next big project's going to end up tying in with Movember, isn't it? So I don't know if you want to talk a bit about that.
It's something that we need to look at, get our heads together, maybe look to our EDIB committee for a bit of further ideas on a bit of a vote on what we should do. But it's definitely coming up in terms of the next one, in terms of looking to raise awareness, possibly linking into the Forbes Foundation, and try and get as many people from the firm involved as we can. I know in the last EDIB committee, we're also looking at a health and wellbeing plan as well. So that's something that's part of the wider strategy from a people department point of view that our team are looking into, and hopefully we can share more of that information in the near future. But yeah, in terms of what the aim is for the moment is try and be a bit of an education piece, try and get everybody learning and understanding. And like you've all said, is trying to break that stigma of people smoking. And I think that another one that we've got coming up is women's health as well. So the firm are looking to do something to promote that. It's not just about men's health. It's everyone's health
across the board.
So it's looking at that wider research into everything.
Hoping to interlink. What we tried to do is get a calendar going, so there will be, from men's health point of view, we've had Men's Health Week. Movember is obviously a key month. Most of us are aware of Movember. From a men's health point of view, that there are some specific points for women's health. So we want to start interlinking them. So it will be a case of there'll be some key points, Men's Health Week and Movember, where we'll have really big drives for men's health. There'll be similar points for the women's health side of things. And then in between times, as Jack has said, it's just that raising awareness, it's that education. So as it carries on, it should become a natural point, and then people know these points are coming up. So November is obviously going to be one of the biggest months that we'll have then. It's specifically around men's health issues, prostate cancer, testicular cancer, men's suicide are three of the main ones that they look to promote, which we've already talked about. And so we're hoping that's something we can get more engagement across the firm. Then obviously it's something that we can get people involved. So we thought we've got time to run up to that and make a big effort in November for that cause as well. So yeah, we're hoping that, to answer the kind of question basically, is what we've got planned. We hope to just make this so that it becomes more ingrained, it becomes natural. We get to a point where it doesn't have to be as kind of structured as this. It's just a natural thing. So from a men's health point of view, that Jack and I are really promoting is to achieve that, to get more people just feeling more natural to talk about it, and to address the issues and to promote it as much as they can. But yeah, we'll have some big events as we go along.
Yeah. Just a question for you, Jack. As a firm, we're very proud of the services that we provide for mental health. For those that aren't aware, what services do Forbes provide? I know if you do go on our intranet page, we've got a section there where we've grouped with certain organisations on different aspects. So if you could further elaborate on that, Jack.
Yeah, so we have a partnership with a health provider called UK Healthcare, and we have access to an employee assistance program, which allows up to 6 free counselling sessions per issue. So depending on what an issue that you may have, so for example, if you are suffering with anything from stress, depression, anxiety, any of those mental health issues, you can get 6 free sessions for those. But then also, if there's some financial issues that you're struggling with as well, you can also get 6 free counselling sessions separate to that. The 6 free counselling sessions don't just stop there as well. There is an option for to carry your counselling sessions on after that. There will be a little bit of a fee, and I do believe that they may be at a bit of a reduced rate, because obviously we've got a partnership with them. In terms of the other health benefits, we've got access to gym membership discounts as well. Again, through our partnership with UK Healthcare, and a cashback plan as well, which helps with like dental, your optical, physiotherapy, all that kind of stuff, and like a secondary consultation for other issues, more that are a bit more complex. And again, we have our integrated new one-to-one with HODs and managers, line managers, which covers a wellbeing aspect. So it's encouraging members of staff to actually speak to their HODs about any health issues, so that we can put support in place from a works perspective, in order to help support them during their work. In terms of from a people's perspective as well, we're always happy to take a phone call, have a conversation, and pinpoint people into the right direction on where they can go. So yeah, there's quite a big support network in that kind of sense.
Definitely.
Well, that's it's been really interesting to hear from you both, Adam and Jack, just to get an insight into the great work you've been doing, especially with promoting the mental health, within the firm, and how we can really broaden our outreach for the things that we've got to look forward to coming forward. So we, like I said, with me and Adil, we're really thankful for you coming on. So thank you.
So thank you, gentlemen, for coming on. Thank you for your time.
Cheers. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.